Well, thanks for taking the time to watch these videos. We're going to be shooting 8 of these corresponding with our Grace Sermon Series. So this fall is sort of the fall of studying the grace of God, the amazing grace that He has given us. And so these videos are just a simple conversation, sharing some thoughts to have you as a small group, or if you want to do this as an individual, to ponder grace more deeply. Look at it. We're calling it the diamond of grace. It's of great value, but there are different cuts in a diamond. So there's different ways and different aspects to look at it, different colors that'll come through this whole image of a diamond of grace. So the first week, we're looking this week at the sermon which we called A Living Picture of Grace from Luke chapter 15. So that chapter's all about 3 different stories of something that was lost and then was found. And we're going to focus on really the third one that we did in the sermon, which I call A Tale of Two Brothers. But it had to do with a younger brother who wasted his inheritance, kind of rejected his father, and headed off to be completely selfish and consume himself in his own sinful desires. And then he reached this place where he had no more place to turn. He lost everything. His friends left him. He's in a horrible place as a Jewish boy among the pigs. And it occurs to him to go home and to maybe become a slave and live away from the house, serving and just earning a small place where he can eat, have a meal, and a place to sleep. But instead of what he expects, he receives complete and total restoration and healing and celebration and embrace by his father. His father runs down the road there to meet his son that has been lost and now is found. So as we start this subject of grace, I want to just cover a couple thoughts. What is grace? What does this picture, this living picture, really mean? Well, the word in the Hebrew, grace, means to bend. It means to stoop. So it would be like the royal family, the queen going through the streets of London, and just a poor street child looking up, and the greater, the queen, stooping down and blessing or touching or offering something of her goodness and greatness to bless someone that's lower. That's what the word really means. It means condescending favor. So it's in the heart of the greater to lean down and press into the one that's lower. So there's an issue of not deserving it, of not earning it, of it completely being on the part of the one extending the grace, and it's completely free. So what I want to focus on today is which of these 2 brothers, there's an older brother in the story that we shared on Sunday who was around the father, serving, faithful, doing his role. And it appears from the scripture that he was trying to earn grace. He was trying to do his part so the father would notice him and give him some goods for a party of his own. The interesting part was that neither brother initially received grace or had a knowledge of what grace really was. So as we slow down and think about it, what do we have to do to get grace? And the answer is nothing. Is that the Father gives it not because we've been good, it's not because we've been faithful, or doesn't withhold it because we sinned greatly or chose things that are not according to His law or broke the 10 Commandments. It's like grace can be a foundation for a life of freedom and a life of rest and a life of mercy towards others and receiving mercy from God. But it goes beyond that. Grace becomes a fountain, this fountainhead of joy, fountainhead of healing, fountainhead of being restored in relationship to God. Grace is sort of like the door, the key in the lock that opens up the kingdom to us. So as you go through today's study, as you ponder this story of living grace in Luke chapter 15, think about where you might land in it or how you relate to it. Which brother you're more likely to be, the one earning grace or the one who chooses to just kind of abandon God and keeps coming back and maybe groveling to Him. Both of them missed it, but the picture of the Father, that's what we want to focus on. He is loving. You do not have to earn His grace. He bends down to you to give it to you freely, and He celebrates you. You're not rejected. Grace means you're accepted, welcomed back into His loving arms. So I pray that as you get into the study today, all this comes alive in your discussions.